Continuing from the previous episode 2250. The bed of the earth? What is that? Hearing the second brother's ecstatic voice, Xiao Yi said with a complicated expression, as if she was extremely puzzled. However, based on Xiao Yi's keen sense of smell, there should be some rare treasures on the ancient Bodhi tree. After all, that kind of richness distorts the surrounding void. It is definitely not an ordinary thing. However, the 18 Arhat Buddha statues scattered on the round platform are probably not vegetarians. They should be the guardians who guard this place. To get this thing, it seems that they must defeat these guys. I was lucky enough to get the third-ranked Holy Flame Remnant picture on the Holy Flame list, the Reincarnation Flame of Heaven. In order to devour something that is comparable to a divine object, you must prepare a medicinal pill called the Reincarnation Pill. Otherwise, if you rashly contaminate it, your body and spirit will be destroyed, and this medicinal pill requires 3 extremely rare medicinal materials. Refining, ice marrow and fire spirit fruit, 30,000-year-old devil whale stone, and the earth's mattress. Xiao Yan's voice became extremely hot, his eyes squinting at the green energy above the ancient Bodhi tree. That green energy is like strands of life energy, slowly moving above the ancient trees, and they actually form an inch-sized green gauze. A trace of extremely gentle life force on the gauze forms an ancient rune, which has a profound power that can be learned from the world, and it is like the source of life, which bursts with extremely hot fluctuations. 3 kinds of medicinal materials. I have already obtained the Ice Essence Fire Spirit Fruit. Although the 30,000-year Demon Whale Stone is extremely difficult to obtain, there are traces to follow. It's just that this Earth's mattress has never been heard of. I didn't expect that I would meet it here. It's really God's will. Xiao Yan said with smacking his lips, unable to hide his excitement. Then Xiao Yi will congratulate the second brother first, but now. Xiao Yi nodded, and also threw the present to the round platform in front of her. The most urgent task at the moment is to remove the earth's bedding from the ancient tree of the body, and not to disturb the 18 Arhats. According to my perception, the reason why the 18 Arhats in this raised circular platform are so strangely arranged is probably an extremely tyrannical formation. Xiao Yan frowned, and then his eyes continued to circle around, trying to find a flaw. The 18 Buddha statues of Arhats have a calm demeanor, and they seem to be connected with each other by some kind of strength, which is full of Zen spirit. Now there's no good way to do it. The only option is to use a dead horse as a living horse doctor. You pick me up here. I'll go in and try. Don't worry, once there is any danger, I will retreat as soon as possible. After a while, Xiao Yan said directly, this is the only way at the moment. Okay. Xiao Yi gritted her teeth and agreed, but the brown flames around her body were like a violent beast, and an endless halo of energy burst out, as if building an escape route. Hoo-hoo. Seeing Xiao Yi act like this, Xiao Yan's eyes narrowed slightly. Without further ado, his slender palm stretched out from his sleeve, the corners of his mouth twitched, and a tinge of cyan energy entangled from his fingertips. Dragon God Transformation, Dragon Transformation. Roaring down, the majestic cyan gushed out, and countless cyan dragon scales shone on Xiao Yan's body. The formation and majesty were enough to make some first-level reincarnations feel dangerous. Squeak. After doing all this, Xiao Yan's eyes were extremely deep and solemn, and he slowly stepped into the round platform. Bang bang bang. Even with the blessing of the Dragon God Transformation, Xiao Yan stepped out in one step. Countless pressures invaded from the body of the 18 Arhats, and pressed down on Xiao Yan without a trace. Xiao Yan's footsteps actually fell into the ground of the round platform. What a terrifying pressure. The suppression of the body, the suppression of the soul. The 18 Arhats are indeed terrifying. The strong Xiao Yan endured this inhuman torture and walked towards the center of the round platform step by step. No matter what, this earth bed must be obtained. Boom! Under Xiao Yan's unrelenting progress, the golden Buddha voices of the 18 Arhats murmured in a low voice, and waves of extremely surging ancient power slowly awakened. Gulu. Second brother, hurry up. Seeing this, Xiao Yi blushed, and roared at Xiao Yan, who was not far away, because there was a trace of golden Buddha on the round table that actually enveloped the entire round table, accompanied by a suffocating tyrannical wave. That's too late. Every step Xiao Yan took was extremely heavy. Feeling this sudden change, he could only grit his teeth, and the clan lines in his body began to move. Amitabha. 18 Arhats opened their mouths at the same time, and a terrifying sound of Buddha sounded through the soul. Immediately, 4 golden Buddha characters appeared on the top of the circular platform. Above the 4 golden Buddha characters, it seems to contain a kind of punishment from heaven and earth. Once touched, I am afraid that there will be no vitality. First of all, this Buddha character just appeared. Xiaoyan's body had a terrifying agitation. It's too strong. The 4-character Buddha's sound released by the 18 Arhats is definitely not something that I can resist, so I have to find another way out. Clan marks. Dragon God transformation. Xiaoyan encountered great changes, and it was too late to leave here, so he could only shout and try to resist. Tear it off. The golden Azzi seemed to be able to ignore all defenses, but it gently penetrated Xiaoyan's defenses and hit Xiaoyan's skin heavily. The skin protected by the blue dragon scales was hit by the word A of Buddha Yin, and bursts of stinging pain immediately emerged, and then the sharp pain on the skin made Xiaoyan sigh. Ignore it? Tick. A character attack fell, a large area of redness on Xiaoyan's skin. A drop of blood actually slowly dripped from the skin, which was particularly harsh in this unusually quiet space. The power of the clan pattern, the dragon claw. Forcibly holding back the suffocating pain, Xiaoyan's eyes condensed the fighting energy into a substantial glass-colored beam of light. Fighting spirit was surging. Without fear, he stepped out with one step, and clenched his big hand to face the remaining Amitabha Buddha above his head. 3 words whizzed away. Boom! With such a terrifying handwriting, the entire round platform space roared, as if it would completely collapse in the next moment. Wong buzzing. For some unknown reason, when a drop of Xiaoyan's blood quietly dripped on the ground, the Buddha's sound on the entire circular platform disappeared rapidly, and even the surging killing intent in the body of the 18 Arhats in Buddha realms quickly disappeared. Weaken. ... After a few breaths, the remaining 3 characters of Amitabha turned into a Buddha and disappeared, and the space here is also returning to peace. Second brother? Seeing this, Xiao Yi rushed in first, and then helped Xiaoyan up, her expression extremely eager. Never mind. It seems that people in the Buddhist world, Manjushri or Bodhi Patriarch, should know our seniors from the Xiao family. Xiaoyan didn't care about the obvious wound on his body, and then his eyes became hot. The ancient Bodhi tree, the bed of the earth. Now, it's mine. Please remember the first domain name of this book. Mobile version update fastest URL. Continuing from the previous episode 2251, the younger descendants of the Xiao family thank the 2 predecessors Bodhi Patriarch and Manjushri. As the energy in this space quieted down, Xiaoyan turned around and bowed slightly to the 2 Buddha statues in the center, then walked towards the ancient Bodhi tree beside him. Let's go, then take this thing down, and immediately set off back to the dust temple. A gentle smile appeared on the corner of Xiaoyan's mouth, and then he came to the side of the ancient Bodhi tree. The ancient Bodhi tree, it is said that this is the tree of wisdom in the Buddha world. Countless strong people experience reincarnation under it and touch the Buddha's way. It can be said to be a symbol of the wisdom of the Buddha world. I just came to the ancient Bodhi tree, looking at this golden ancient tree with luxuriant branches and leaves. There is actually a touch of ancient Buddhist scriptures to make up for it, which is profound. Soul power. After taking a look at the ancient Bodhi tree, Xiaoyan's inner spiritual palace surged violently, and countless soul powers were covered like a tidal wave of energy. This is... Xiao Yi was a little puzzled by this, obviously not knowing what her second brother was doing now. The mattress of the earth is a special medicinal material made of life energy. Its shape is like an energy dress. Only the purest power can be used to expel it from the ancient Bodhi tree. Xiaoyan smiled slightly and explained directly. The soul power in his hand did not stop. Wong buzzing. After the 18 Arhats quieted down, the energy in this space was extremely gentle, and the sound of Zen was looming, making people feel like a spring breeze, and Xiaoyan was also in this situation, slowly condensing the energy Shi. 1 day, 2 days, 10 days. This process is not simple. It took 10 days for the green and lush energy dress on the ancient golden Bodhi tree to show its specific outline. Second brother, it worked. At this moment, Xiao Yi said excitedly, with his sense of smell, he also smelled an extremely surging life force from this energy dress. Hoo-hoo. On this day, Xiaoyan slowly opened his eyes, looked at the energy shei above the ancient Bodhi tree with the same joyful expression, and said with relief, "Fire!" When the basic outline of the Earth's mattress appeared, the glazed flames invaded out of Xiaoyan's body, wrapping it tightly. "Come back." After the rest, Xiaoyan waved his hand, and the group of medicinal materials was successfully included in the Emperor Yan ring by himself. The mat of the Earth is indeed a true medicinal material, but elixir of this level already has different shapes, so it cannot be inferred by common sense. Next, there is only one last medicinal material left. Feeling the turbulent aura of life contained on the Earth's mattress energy dress, Xiaoyan's fists shrank unconsciously. The third place on the sacred flame ranking, the reincarnation flame of the heavenly Tao, is just around the corner. The rest of the treasure, you can choose it at will. Now there is nothing I need here. Xiaoyan got up, put his palm on Xiao Yi, and said jokingly, "Oh, okay." Little Yi Junsho's face was also a little moved, and she couldn't help but take away the Bodhi beads on the palm of the ancient Bodhi tree. "Let's go, it's time to go back. After this is over, follow me back to the endless fire territory. You should also meet Zuner and the others, and identify the way." Xiaoyan said, "Okay." When the words fell, Xiaoyan dragged the meteorite iron and returned to the dust temple along the way. Without that kind of strange suppression, the weight of the meteorite iron dropped dramatically, so the journey was easy. As for the green-hair Buddha, after saying goodbye, he followed Xiaoyan and went to Chen Temple. Master Liao Chen, fortunately not to be humiliated. Xiaoyan and the two returned to the Chen Temple, and under the guidance of some monks, they saw Master Chen again, but now that Master Chen, the Buddha beads on his palms have long since disappeared, but the rusty palms are particularly special. Eye-catching. "Two little friends, you are really hidden." The sound of admiration from Master Chen could not stop, and he immediately looked at the meteorite iron in front of him carefully. The ancient ruler also stood in front of him together, and there was a faint resonance between the two. "Master, how is the situation?" He didn't rashly disturb Master Chen's exploration of the meteorite iron. After taking a breath, he watched the latter stop, as if thinking about something before Xiaoyan spoke up. "A good piece of meteorite iron, even if those evil monsters have existed for countless years, they have not been damaged in the slightest. It's a genius." After investigating Master Chen, he was very excited. There is no other symbol of a Buddhist monk in this appearance. "Grand Master?" Looking at the ecstatic Master Li Chen in front of him like a child, both of them were puzzled. "Hee, the two of you don't know, this piece of meteorite star iron is far more valuable than normal star iron. With this thing, repairing the magic ruler is just around the corner." Master Li Chen cherishes his words like gold, and his eyes are always on the ancient ruler and meteorite iron. "I don't know if we need to do anything." Xiaoyan was also slightly relieved to hear Master Chen's fiery voice. Now everything is ready, and he only owes Dongfeng. I hope that Master Chen can repair the first stage of the ancient ruler as soon as possible, and then he can also have an extra trump card. "Unnecessary. You don't need to do anything. You can go back now. The repair of the divine ruler must be carried out in a very closed environment, and the time required is not short. After the repair of the divine ruler is successful, the old man will send it to your waiting house." After thinking about it, Master Chen said, "This?" Xiaoyan and Xiao Yi couldn't help being a little surprised when they heard the words. "If the donor is not at ease, this is an old relic, and you can press it to the donor. I was originally a monk, but I have never repaired the magic ruler. The art of repairing tools has been passed down from generation to generation, and I didn't expect my generation to be cut off." Master Lycan nodded slowly, and a golden relic appeared from his chest. "Master doesn't have to be like this, we naturally believe in you." Seeing this, Xiaoyan said with relief, "It's as short as a few years, as long as decades, and the old man will definitely return this thing perfectly." Master Li Chen vanished the source of the relic, and his voice suddenly sounded mighty. Boom! At this moment, a gust of wind was blowing outside the Liaochen temple, and the huge body of the blue-haired Buddha lion poured into it. "Since that's the case, then I'll just wait for the good news from the master." Xiaoyan and Xiao Yi stepped on the back of the green-haired Buddha lion at the same time, and left facing the void of the Buddha world. They had no special power. They had to use the divine beast like the green-haired Buddha lion to leave here and return to the endless fire domain. Let's go. It's time to have it. My wish is to see the birth and radiance of the divine artifact. I never thought that the old man would still encounter such an opportunity in his later years. My Buddha is compassionate. Come here, start the underground temple. This time, I will create a precedent in this world. I just don't know which magic ruler this magic ruler is. The voice fell, and Master Lu Chen also started the tedious process of repairing the ancient ruler, while Xiao Yan and the two, under the leadership of the blue-haired Buddha lion, stepped through the void and prepared to return to the endless fire domain. Please remember the first domain name of this book. Mobile version update fastest URL. Continuing from the previous episode 2252. Later I will send you here to a space channel that is enough for the two of you to leave the Buddha realm. Let's just say goodbye. The two of you helped me, and of course I won't forget it. In the space, golden Buddhist scriptures appeared all over the blue-haired Buddha lion, and they traveled continuously through the void, taking Xiao Yan and the two to travel in the void of the Buddha realm. The emptiness of the Buddha world is obviously different from other empties. The emptiness here is filled with Zen sounds, Buddhist scriptures, etc. that make them horrified. Don't pass here. I think your aura is not weak, and there are many secrets in your body. I might have the opportunity to meet here in the future. After saying goodbye, they separated, and Xiao Yan and the two embarked on the road of return. As for the blue-haired Buddha lion, they went into it and went to find Manjusri Bodhisattva. Second brother, let's go. At the entrance of the space crack, Xiao Yi was very quiet, but looking at Xiao Yan who was absent-minded, she could only remind her. Boom! Before Xiao Yan could speak, violent clashes of energy erupted in the distance. Wait, this smell seems to be somewhat familiar. Could it be the guy you met in the Space Intelligence Sales building before? Go! As soon as the words fell, the dazzling soul power of Xiao Yan surged out, forming a magnificent flame crystal on the body of the two, and then roamed together in this dark world. In the distance, a group of whistling yellow light flashed out. Wherever they passed along the way, yellow filaments of light emerged, making the whole place buzzing. Damn it! This stinky monk is too difficult to deal with. A group of cyan swords moved rapidly, as if they were escaping from the ladder. There was a figure in the light group, with scars all over his body, but a rusty ancient sword behind him glowed with dim light, shocking one after another. The terrifying power of the void invaded. Li Tian laughed. A daring human being who dared to pass through the forbidden area of my Buddha's door, and today this seat will permanently suppress you here. A fierce voice gushed out from the yellow light group, and suddenly the entire realm was empty, and a strong aura collapsed. Just because you want to suppress me? Sword Chi is 30,000 miles across. Gotcha! Li Tianxiao roared coldly and a dazzling halo erupted from the ancient sword behind him. Immediately, with the skillful swing of his palm, it flashed directly at the yellow light ball, with a threatening aura. The sword skills of the Lord of the Sword Domain? Looking at this scene, the yellow light group stopped, and the figure of a monk with a kind face emerged, and the faint yellow Buddhist scriptures sounded around him. Boom! When countless sword shadow forces attacked the monk's body, the Buddhist scriptures poured out and shattered it directly. It's a miscalculation. I never thought that there are so many masters in the forbidden area of Buddhism. But this is also the best time for me to realize the sword intent. Come on the sword. When Li Tianxiao saw this, the power of reincarnation permeated his body, and the ancient sword in his hand buzzed as if he was cheering. This guy entered the Buddhist world and directly broke into a forbidden place of Buddhism, was chased and killed by many strong Buddhists, and was finally hunted down by this eminent monk. According to this situation, Li Tianxiao may not escape death. The benefactor's murder is too heavy, and the sea of suffering is boundless. Buddhist sound and Zen spirit. The Buddha beads on the palm of the monk Wudao twisted, and then the corners of his mouth began to recite the tyrannical exercises in Buddhism. Circles of golden Buddhist scriptures shot at Li Tianxiao like shackles. The shackles were covered with Buddhist scriptures, and the power above the scriptures it actually made Li Tianxiao's reincarnation force become afraid. This level of power is too tyrannical. Once touched by it, I am afraid that Li Tianxiao will be completely suppressed here. The sword breaks through the sky. Li Tianxiao knew his current situation, his eyes became fierce, and he poured his vindictive energy on the ancient sword and swung it at the enlightened monk. A sword was swung out, all the void collapsed, and endless majestic sword shadows whistled. They were like stars all over the sky, leaning unreservedly beside the monk enlightenment. The benefactor, the sea of suffering is boundless, and turning back is the shore. This time, the monk Wu Dao was whispering, but between the whispers, there was a strong ancient Zen sound. Those Zen sounds deeply stinged Li Tianxiao's soul, causing the direction of his attack to occur extremely. Deviations in the eyes. Crack. With a sound, countless sword shadows easily shattered and opened beside the Buddhist scriptures, without causing any waves. Peefed. Monk Wu Dao's terrifying blow of the Buddha's sound directly destroyed Li Tianxiao's attack. At the same time, the latter spurted out a mouthful of blood and spilled into the void, apparently caused by the shock of this Zen sound. The two-level reincarnation-level powerhouse, the enlightened monk, really deserves his reputation. Li Tianxiao forcibly propped up his body that had reached the limit and smiled slowly. Donor, you hurt several Buddhist disciples of my Buddhism, and go back with me to listen to the teachings in front of my Buddha. When the voice fell, the enlightened monk raised his big hand, and the ancient golden Buddhist scriptures were transformed into countless ancient Buddhist texts, completely covering Li Tianxiao's body, causing him to suffer. Holy flame! Just when the monk Wu Dao was about to leave this void with Li Tianxiao, a glaze-colored deep flame swept out easily, covering the entire space. Holy flame fire? Looking at this scene, the eyes of the enlightened monk couldn't help but become dignified, and then turned to look at two strange figures in the void. Who is it? When Li Tianxiao saw this, his pupils shrank tightly, and then he looked over. Why does Master Enlightenment make things difficult for his own people? The situation in the Daqin world is shaking. Fighting in the nest is not a good thing at this time. After doing all this, Xiao Yan slowly appeared, the breath of the peak of the reincarnation rank accompanied by a glaze-colored flame lingering around his body, like a god's mansion that truly controls all fires. It turned out to be the Lord of Endless Fire Domain. Monk Wu Dao glanced at Xiao Yan indifferently, and then spoke softly. This matter is a matter of our Buddhism. Does the donor have to intervene? The monk Wu Dao thought for a while and then said helplessly, "This is the disciple of the old man." Xiao Yan said with a hearty smile, "You reading www. Link to youcanshu.com, but anyone can clearly understand the meaning of short-term protection under these voices. That's all." Whoa! When monk Wu Dao heard the words, he shook his head, and his whole body flourished, and he disappeared here in one fell swoop. With the blessing of the glass-colored holy flame, he was at the peak of the reincarnation rank. Even if he had the strength of the second reincarnation rank, he could not shake Xiao Yan, so he retreated. A disciple of an old friend, you? After the monk Wu Dao left, Li Tianxiao looked at Xiao Yan and the two with a surprised expression. These are some medicinal pills to recover from injuries. Xiao Yi, let's go. Xiao Yan threw some medicinal pills at the two of them, then stepped directly into the void and returned to the endless fire territory. Damn, he's really a weirdo, but what is the disciple of the old friend? The person related to the master is the leader in the world. Li Tianxiao murmured, and immediately went back slowly. At this point, the journey of repairing the ancient ruler has ended perfectly. When I see the ancient ruler next time, I am afraid it will be enough to evaporate some of the supreme brilliance that belongs to its divine weapon. Please remember the first domain name of this book. Mobile version update fastest URL. Continuing from the previous episode 2253. After Xiao Yan and Xiao Yi left the Buddha realm, they easily returned to the endless fire territory, which caused a frenzy of carnival. After all, many people here once had some consensus, so the warm scene was particularly hilarious, so this place also changed. It's fun, and it's quite a paradise like leisure and elegance. After the return of the two, Xiao Yan, together with the three mistresses of Kailan Zuner, Mu Yingying, and a group of high-level officials, formulated many regulations in line with the development and growth of the Endless Fire Realm. Therefore, the current Endless Fire Realm, whether it is strength or prestige, are increasing in a geometric multiple. After all this was done, the entire Endless Fire territory also became more lively, but Xiao Yan spent a rather calm and unrestrained life in this regard. During this period, Xiao Yan passed on the divine arts such as the Ghost Realm and the Buddha Realm in his body to his sons and daughters Xiao Xiao, Xiao Gui, Xiao Yi and other confidants, so that their strength increased extremely quickly. With the help of the divine art, they can be said to be 1,000 miles away in terms of cultivation, and their achievements in the future may be enough to be proud of the world at the peak of this world. Now that Kalen's strength has reached the middle stage of the 8-star fighting immortals, the strength of the 10-colored sky swallowing python in the body still has some time to fully comprehend and integrate, so the trip to the demon world can only retreat for this. After receiving the instructions left by the goddess Yaoji, Mu Yingying's strength was also astonishing, and she broke through to the 8-star fighting immortal. Even Xiao Yan was a little surprised. The purple fire seed that Yaoji goddess gave to Yingying probably came from an extraordinary origin, otherwise it would not have been possible. As for Zuner, after Xiao Yan left these days, the reincarnation seal and Phoenix Nirvana pill complemented each other, and their strength reached the perfection of the 8-star fighting immortals for the first time in history, but breaking through the reincarnation requires a huge opportunity, so Zuner did not rashly just try. Obviously, this arrogant daughter of the ancient clan, whether in the Do-Chi continent or this great thousand world, is still gifted. The strength of the endless fire territory has grown in such an orderly manner. Although it is still not comparable to those of the top plane continents under the human world, with the tireless efforts of these people, the future can be expected. One night, the night shrouded the entire endless fire domain, but this night was extraordinarily deep, and the stars in the starry sky slowly turned into a pair of eyes at this time, which was extremely mysterious. In a quiet courtyard in the endless fire territory, at this time Xiao Yan was alone deep in the pavilion, standing here with his hands on his back, looking at this vast starry sky from afar. Several years have passed since the Buddha realm came back, and the plane meeting is coming soon, but the turmoil in the Great Thousand Worlds has been too calm recently, and I always feel that it is not a good thing. After watching the endless starry sky for a while, he found nothing. Xiao Yan was helplessly sitting on the stone seat of the pavilion, but an extremely terrifying feeling of irritability emerged spontaneously, as if the stars in the starry sky were watching him. The plane meeting is the first meeting of the younger generation in the world. It can be said without hesitation that those who can participate in this kind of meeting are all powerful descendants, or some talented people. At the meeting, Xiao Yan didn't know much about it. After all, even the Space Intelligence Sales Building avoided talking about it. It was really difficult to find information. I knew you came here. Brother Xiao Yan. At the same time, at the door of the pavilion, a beautiful figure slowly walked out, and the voice was full of relief. Wearing a blue dress, with a faint smile hanging on her delicate face, she looks extremely lively under such attire, and is quite ** under the moonlight. Although she came to this continent for decades, Zuner's figure and Yan Ting's beauty has not deteriorated, and she looks like a poetic fairy in a painting. Aren't you too? Seeing this, Xiao Yan smiled casually, then got up and dragged Zuner's extra slender wrist, overjoyed. Xiao and the others have the divine art you gave them, and they will achieve limitless success in the future, and the endless fire territory is now on the right track. Brother Xiao Yan can rest assured. For the rest, Zuner will follow you closely. Being held hands by Xiao Yan like this, Zuner also huddled in the latter's arms as quietly as a little sheep, filled with reassurance and happiness, but there was a rare stubbornness beneath those warm voices. Zuner knows that Brother Xiao Yan still has a lot of things on his shoulders. Even if he has stepped into the peak of samsara, I am afraid he is still some distance away. Yep, there is no need to worry about the endless fire territory for the time being, but I am worried that this vast world is too quiet now, and it doesn't look like normal. And Xiao is so smart, I don't know who will be cheaper in the future. When Xiao Yan heard what Zuner said, he couldn't help joking immediately, and he also agreed with what Zuner said. In the past, the endless fire territory had just been established, and all kinds of things were so busy that they needed their own hands, but now that they are on the right track, they can naturally make time. Humph! With such a strong father as you, I'm afraid Xiao will. Zuner smiled sweetly, as if she had been able to meet those rare scenes. Xiao's talent is no less than Kalen's. Even because of her high starting point of birth, she directly pressed against Kalen. Now, the two continents of Do-Chi and Duty are completely connected and upgraded. This girl is young and light, and she is already and now she is the little princess in the endless fire territory, and she is the first person under the immortal fighting in the fire territory, and she deserves it. Shaolin, this guy has a little bit of heat in his practice. It seems that he needs to hone himself. Otherwise, it's a bit unreasonable to be a dignified man and a man. It seemed that he thought of something, Xiao Yan said with a grin. You. Zuner smiled and really answered that sentence. A tiger father has no dog son. Brother Xiao Yan, Zuner will accompany you on the road ahead. After a long time, Zuner spoke with a serious face. Obviously, there is no deeper meaning in these words. Is this you, or you? Xiao Yan couldn't help being a little stunned. Of course it was my idea. But the biggest. Of course, there must be some privileges. When Zuner heard this, she broke free from Xiao Yan's arms, and then put her hands on her hips with a puffed-up look, which was indescribably playful and cute. Actually, it was our common idea. Ying is now trying to absorb the seeds of the purple fire, and Sister Kaylin also feels the power of 10 colors, so it's only me. But during the period when Brother Xiao Yan was gone, Zuner heard a lot of rumors. For example, Du Qifei from the ghost world, Su Shuiying, the guardian of the Xiao family, etc. Brother Xiao Yan will explain honestly. At the end of the sentence, a smile like a little devil appeared on Shuan or Yangya's pretty face. Well, it's sour. Whose vinegar jar was overturned? Between the two of them flirting in this quiet pavilion, the starry sky above the endless fire fields suddenly appeared with extremely majestic energy. Those powers are profound and mysterious, and the flood of reincarnation is a bit incredible for today's endless fire domain. Please remember the first domain name of this book. Mobile version update fastest URL. Continuing from the previous episode 2254. Wong buzzing. Under this night, the starry sky above the endless fire domain is like a tidal wave of energy, emitting countless energy. Oh, the soul power in the later stage of Yuan realm. Xiao Yan instantly calmed down, with endless glazed flames burning in his eyes, and then stared blankly at the starry sky. With his eyes closed, the power of the soul in Xiao Yan's body was revolving, and unexpectedly, he discovered from this night that strange things like light seals were attacking from the distant shore. Brother Xiao Yan, what happened? Zuner hurriedly quieted down, and looked at the starry sky above the endless fire domain with the same look of doubt, where there seemed to be a steady stream of power overflowing. Xiao Yan did not answer Zuner's question, but only vaguely noticed that the stars in the night actually formed a very strange scene, and it seemed that some creature was hiding in it. Ha ha ha, is this the so-called endless fire territory? A mere territory that occupies 4 continents is also worthy of a domain? In the starry sky, no one appeared, but under the attack of Xiao Yan's soul power, a transparent and invisible soul power whistled, and a sneering sound filled the air. The sound of the cold hum is like an ancient Hong bell. It just appeared, and suddenly it caused a great uproar in the bodies of all the powerhouses belonging to the endless fire territory. Soul means? Crossing the void by means of the soul. What are you trying to do to my endless fire domain? After the sudden voice of the soul spread, 2 extremely mysterious mists spread out, covering the entire starry sky. The mist was filled with a hint of spirituality, and the fluctuations contained under it were extremely impressive. It turned out that there is the power of reincarnation making it noisy. Let's go, Zuner. As soon as the voice fell, the 2 disappeared together, facing the night starry sky. Boom! This voice just fell. Above the headquarters of Endless Fire Territory, an ancient Hong bell vigilantly sounded. Countless powerhouses appeared in this starry sky at the same time. The terrifying power of the starry sky actually made them feel an unprecedented fear. That kind of aura seems like an ethereal soul power, but it has a genuine reincarnation aura, which makes people shudder. This is the starry sky of my endless fire domain. If Your Excellency breaks in rashly, we have the right to kill it directly. Feng Wan'er stepped out of the crowd first, and immediately the majestic power within her body roared out, making the whole world buzz. Hee, I didn't expect that in the endless fire area, it would be possible to have reincarnation-level powerhouses in charge. It's really a misstep, but just by virtue of this ability, it can't stop us. Teacher, let's do it. Since this continent is secretly coveted by countless powerhouses, let us be the first leader. You remember, in this world, the weak eat the strong, and the weak are not qualified to own such a huge territory. The heavy voice fell, and suddenly 2 silhouettes were condensed by countless soul forces in the fog of the soul. Those are 2 near-transparent energy bodies, completely constructed from soul power. One is old and holds a disc in his hand, and the other is quite young, but the soul power that condenses the 2 bodies turned out to be rare. Yuan, realm. Moreover, it is still in the late stage of Yuan Huajing. This kind of momentum is appalling. Guru, Feng Lao. These two are the two in the human world called Xuanyu. The elder is Xuanji, the head of the Xuanyu clan, who is a quasi-double reincarnation rank, and the other is his disciple Zan Fengzi, who is quasi-reincarnation. It is said that the strength of this Xuanwu has reached the quasi-double reincarnation level, and in his hand he is in control of an artifact called the Destruction King Plate. On the side, Han Tianhao raised his head and looked at the figures of the two souls with a pale face. That kind of reincarnation coercion made those who were not strong enough to feel an irresistible coercion. Artifact? Destroying the Heavenly King Plate? This thing doesn't exist on the list of artifacts in the human world. In my opinion, it's just a false name. When Feng Wan'er heard this, she directly denied it. In the Great Thousand Worlds, there are only 18 artifacts recognized by the human world, and each of them is famous, but it is not something that such a strong person can compare at will. The overall strength of Xuanyu is slightly stronger than our endless fire territory. It should be that our endless fire territory has developed too rapidly over the years, which has caused many other forces in the Great Thousand World to be jealous. I thought it was a rumor, but I didn't expect it. Han Tianhao was ashamed. Don't worry, everything belongs to me. Feng Wan'er nodded to a group of strong men behind her, and then the majestic breath of reincarnation swept out. After Xiaoyan's return, the dark disease in Feng Wan'er's body has been healed, and now the triple reincarnation level strength can be regarded as the true background of the endless fire territory. Zan Moji, your master and apprentice are also considered to be prominent figures in the Great Thousand World. Now you have rashly used your soul power to cast a spiritual body and step into the starry sky of my endless fire domain. What are you trying to do? Feng Wan'er stepped out one step at a time, and her majestic triple reincarnation strength was undoubtedly on display. Triple reincarnation rank? Master, the information is wrong. Zan Fengzi, who was beside him, looked at Feng Wan'er in surprise. After a long time, he retracted his gaze, and then raised his palm and rubbed his forehead. Even though the latter was already in the wind, the real reincarnation pressure was a real third order. Moreover, under Feng Wan'er's terrifying cold hum just now, it actually caused a heavy feeling of dizziness in his head. Triple reincarnation stage. I can't think of the fact that there is a triple reincarnation level powerhouse hidden in the endless fire territory, but this is the end of the matter, so I can only give it a try. I use the power of the soul as a guide to condense the shape. Gather spirit bodies. The icy voice sounded, and the two transparent souls suddenly became more and more solid, and they directly turned into two figures. Constructing a spirit body with soul power is a big means, but it can only volatilize 80% of the power of the body, and once this spirit body suffers any damage, it will undoubtedly return to the body, or even increase in geometric multiples. I belong to the endless fire territory. Enter a state of defense, find all suspicious persons, kill without mercy. Feng Wan'er's voice fell, and she also stared at the two in front of her. The power of reincarnation filled her body. For her, it was too easy to deal with a quasi-double reincarnation rank powerhouse. It's just that with her keen sense of smell, she can find that there are some extremely obscure auras in this star space. That kind of power is more tyrannical than ordinary reincarnation, at least with her triple reincarnation level. Strength, unable to cope. Xuanyu is mysterious, so let me have a good meeting. This so-called endless fire territory, how can he do and how can he be a king by himself? A vast voice emerged, and a rare murderous intent appeared on Xuanji's face, as if he was bound to win for everything that followed. Please remember the first domain name of this book. Mobile version update fastest URL.